this out, and I'm asking, is it time to bring back compulsory national service? I can't even talk now. It's the thought of that cake. Now, with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak taking a break from the campaign trail today, his party have launched a major election policy, and it will see 18-year-olds taking part in either 12 months of military service or volunteering within the community. But Home Secretary James Cleverly says that it's not mandatory, and by that I think he means that the service itself is, but the military element isn't. So for the Great British Debate this hour, I'm asking, is it time to bring back compulsory national service? Well, joining me now is author and broadcaster Julie Cook, also combat veteran Trevor Coult, and also journalist Emma Wolfe. Right, well, I'm going to start with you. You're a combat veteran. Trevor, is it time? Do we need to bring it back? Let's get these young people, let's get them to learn street fighting.
Well, I listened to the Prime... First of all, thanks for having me on, Anna. I do appreciate it. I listened to what the Prime Minister had to say, and, you know, it's not a bad idea, if I'm honest, but that 12 months would not be possible. I mean, it's 6 months training, and if you get injured, it's 8 months. So 12 months, it sounds nice for an election, but and it would install selfless commitment in the Army's values and standards to young adults, but 12 months is not feasible. I think it'd be a waste of taxpayers' money.
Well, what do you think? Emma Wolfe, what are your thoughts on it? Because, you know, I think 12 months is decent. You don't have to be in the military service. We're talking about some form of serving your country.
I think it's the first excellent idea that Sunak has had in a very, very long time. I think it's brilliant. We've got a real crisis amongst young people at the moment. There's an epidemic of depression, anxiety disorders, obesity. They're all stuck indoors on their phones. I think 12 months of serving your country, getting some physical, you know, getting a career path, getting some physical activity into you, getting some rigor, getting some boundaries, getting some discipline, having some interaction with other people, get them off their phones. I think this is excellent. It's effectively like, it's the equivalent of like a gap year after school. It gives them a shared sense of initiative, of purpose. It gives them a reason to be proud of their country. It may even, lots of people will just go on to university, they'll go into jobs after this. But for some people, it'll be a really interesting career path. I think it's a great idea. Nana, as you know, I've got a 3-year-old boy. I would be very happy, genuinely, I'd be very happy for him to do a year's military training when he turns 18. Not now, maybe 3 is a bit young, but at 18.
He wouldn't be much help at 3, would he? He'd be like, OK, then he'd be like, mummy. So
he would actually, but anyway.
Julie Cook, what do you think about the idea? Julie.
Hi, Nana. Well, I think this is the final nail in the coffin for the Conservatives. I really think he has really destroyed his campaign with this announcement. I'm a mum of a 10-year-old girl and a 15-year-old boy. So my son, if this comes into play, would be doing this in a couple of years' time. I'm all for citizenship. I'm all for civic duty. I'm all for volunteering. Who isn't? That's wonderful stuff for kids. But this has been announced the same week. We've had an announcement of stocking up and prepping in our cupboards should war come. There is a huge rhetoric of war in the newspapers, in the media, and inferences from government. I think you'd have to be mad and crackers, any parent, to vote for this the way the world is at the moment.
What do you mean? I would actually say you'd be mad and crackers to not have something like this in place with the way the world is at the moment. That's the way I see it. I mean, the world is a frightening place. Surely, Trevor, getting people involved in some form of... It doesn't have to be military, but don't you think a lot of young people would actually really enjoy it?
Well, for instance, you're showing pictures of soldiers in combat while we are discussing this. I'm all for getting, as Liddy said, getting teenagers off the street and installing discipline and making them go forward in life with respect for others, integrity. But my point is, 12 months, it costs £50,000 to train one soldier. You're talking 50,000 of those in the UK. Yeah. There's 306. So you're talking 35 billion a year if you want to put these people through this. We can't afford it. I think it's just a political soundbite, but we haven't got the infrastructure for that amount of people. But it is something that I think should be looked at.
But we haven't got the infrastructure for electric cars. Even though I don't agree with them, that's no reason to not do them, and they're still doing it. So at some pace, you have to start somewhere. So I mean, there's a lot of knife crime, there's a lot of young people literally not knowing what to do or anything. Surely some form of guidance. I mean, I did Duke of Edinburgh. If it was spread out longer, they're talking about the reason why we're showing military, by the way, because we don't have much more detail on the policy, but we know that military will be one of the aspects of it. So that's why, Trevor, surely that level level, getting people focused on this country and serving this country is a good start?
Well, it would certainly help. Going back from my time in the military, in the army or in the military, there's no religion, there's no barriers, there's no colours or creeds. Everyone works together. The teamwork in there should install something better for civilian life. It brings you out with a different outlook, and it's something that needs looked at. I think it's a great idea, but it needs tweaked. It needs tweaked massively for it to go forward as a proper plan.
Yeah, well, look, Emma, I'm with him on that one. Sounds like a good idea. Although it's interesting that Julie seems to think that that's the nail in his coffin. Emma, do you think it's the nail in Sunak's coffin, this particular plan?
A lot of young people are not going to be happy about this. A lot of parents are not going to be happy about it. I get that, and I agree with Trevor. In a practical sense, there's not much detail on how it would work. Plenty of middle-class parents would be trying to get their kids off. Like everybody gets off jury service, it's meant to be mandatory. So I think it's probably a bit of a gimmick policy, but I like it in principle. I like the idea. Yes, we'd have to invest. It would cost a lot. But you know what? It'd be cheaper than children, young people on benefits, sitting on benefits, going into a life of crime, the anxiety, the depression, all the stuff that comes from having nothing, literally nothing to do with their lives. Maybe it's not for everybody, but I don't think there's too much snobbishness about military service. Why? It's a great career path for a lot of young girls and boys. It would be a great, young people, but male and female. I think it's great. I think it's a really nice
she
idea.
said that there's a lot of snobbishness for people in thinking about military service. Would you agree with her?
No, I don't. I don't think it's snobbishness comes into it at all. In fact, I love the military. I wear my poppy with pride. I've written a book about the military. I have the highest respect for them, and anyone who chooses to enter the military, I think is incredible and incredibly brave. No, my argument is that they're calling this mandatory at a backdrop of war. We are hearing all the time about Iran, about China, about Russia, about Ukraine. I think we can't separate national service with a military element to it from what's going on the global stage. And if you want your kids to be cannon fodder in 5-6 years, fine. I don't.
Well, you say that, but then if we are attacked and we don't have anything, then we're all cannon fodder, so somebody's got to fight for this country. And to be honest, the reason why we're all sitting here is because the soldiers who risked their lives to give us the opportunity to be here and have our freedoms. So I think that we should absolutely educate our kids to have some sort of compassion and loyalty to this country. But thank you so much for your thoughts, Julie Cook, Dave, Trevor Coulter, and also Emma Wolfe. Right, this is GB News on TV, online